This particular team, like any great team, you need a combination of good players, good coaching, and some luck. And that team had all three that year. The Camellia Bowl team was, well, as it turned out, almost unbeatable.
So we had this nice little nucleus of sophomores and juniors and a great group of seniors, and everything just came together that year.
We just started winning, and we had one setback with Long Beach, but it was just a magic season.
You know, that chemistry of team, or whatever you want to call it, we got a win, and it just kept growing after that. Back then, the school was probably about 6,000 students. Having a football program at a Division II school was really a big deal. If you were a student at UCSB, you lived in Isla Vista or on campus, and everybody came to the football games.
We had an exciting offense, which was Coach Curtis's forte, and our defense, we prided ourselves in calling ourselves the Green Weenies.
They were known as the Green Weenies because their jerseys during practice were green, and they were known as the Weenies because they were so small. So it was all spirit with this team.
For me, one of the most memorable games ever was when we played Santa Clara, who was undefeated and number 6 in the nation. And the stadium was full, it was a hot day, and we went down and had a very, very close match. We won it by 1 point, stopping them on the 6-yard line with an interception.
I remember we played Hawaii, over in Hawaii, and played in bad weather and in mud, and we eked out a 3-0 win in Hawaii, and we came back and we knew that if we could defeat our rival, which was Cal Poly, at the end of the year, that we had a chance to maybe to get a Division II bowl game. And I remember we were on the road to Cal Poly, and we couldn't do anything wrong in that game. We actually destroyed Cal Poly and came home, and I remember in the locker room at their stadium, coach came in and announced we were going to be selected to go to the Camellia Bowl, and we were all excited, but a lot of guys are going, oh my God, we have 2 more weeks of practice, which we did, but we got through that and got to go to Sacramento and be rewarded with a postseason bowl, and it was really exciting.
We had a history that year of a very good winning season, of great coaches and great times together, and I don't think we concentrated so much on who the enemy was and were they stronger than us and could we beat them. We just came in with the idea that we could beat them.
We were playing a team that we were much smaller, much slower, but we had the attitude that we could win this game.
They had tremendous athletes, but we were ready to play. We were small, but we were fast, and we were leading 17-0 at one point. And then they called one of our touchdowns back, so we were leading 10-0.
But what happened at the halftime was something really unusual, and that was the coaches saying, how proud they were of us. And it's like a whole different set of things came out of the coaches at that time, because this was a big deal, and I don't know that we appreciated it was such a big deal at the time, but they did. Getting to a bowl game, and it was a big deal in their careers. But what was great was how complimentary they were to us and how proud they were, and that was something I hadn't heard at a halftime talk before.
It started to rain, and in the second half, and they had a big fullback, great player, Chavez was his name, Ray Chavez, and he started to carry the ball against us and make yards, and they eventually beat us 18-10. But it was a tremendous game, a tremendous experience for me and my teammates. We went against one of the great teams on the West Coast and almost beat them.
We could have and should have won that game, but the fact is that we played a team that had 11 NFL draftees off of that team, and we played them right to the end, and that was our willingness to hang in there.
We were coming off of a freshman year where we were the only undefeated athletic team, I believe, in the history of the university. So our football team was loaded with young guys, and I was one of them, and we played in Sacramento, and we should have beat them. They got lucky.
This team involved players
each of whom put in more than he took out. And that's something that stuck with me my whole life about the essence of teamwork.
When I played on the team, I felt the players were my brothers, and to this day, we've kept our relationships over 40 years ago. Cactus Jack was a real players coach. He was brilliant with the X's and O's and plays. He had coached teams that had led the nation in rushing. He had coached teams that had led the nation in passing. But his real expertise was people.
Coach Curtis treated everyone on the team the same, whether you were a starter or whether you were fourth string. And he had numerous pearls of wisdom.
He was more than a coach. I mean, he was like a father to all of us. And for him, it was all about developing good people. And if in the process you won some football games, so much the better. We wore coats and ties, and we said yes sir, and we said no sir.
His old saying was,
Be conspicuous by being inconspicuous.
be conspicuous by being inconspicuous.
Be conspicuous by being inconspicuous.
When you're a college student, be conspicuous by being. What kind of statement is that? But you know, you finally get it after you say it enough times, that draw attention to yourself by your behavior and not bad behavior, about how you handle yourself publicly and on the field and off the field and in the classroom. And so that stuck with me my whole life. If I said that to a teammate, they know exactly what it is, exactly.
You know, he taught the game of life, and he used football as the vehicle for doing that.
You take that leadership from a coaching perspective, and then the intelligence and I think just the athleticism of our people, it just kind of all came together at the same time, and it created a great season.
One of the things the old Coach Curtis used to say is, you're in a great institution, you're going to get a tremendous education, but you're going to remember your teammates more than you will the people in your math class or your English class. And he was right. It was the kind of culture that 40 years later, we got back together and started the Gaucho Athletics Association, which is now the Gaucho Order. And we've got a bunch of people who are back supporting the institution that gave them so much when they were growing up.
It's really kind of a fun thing to be a part of, be a part of this team that stayed connected. And in 2015, it'll be 50 years since that Camellia Bowl team in 1965. And it seems like yesterday to me.
It's gone down as kind of one of the golden areas in Santa Barbara football history, you know. I played with 8 Hall of Famers.
That team generated 6 PhDs, 5 masters, 1 MBA, 3 lawyers, and a doctor. Not bad for a bunch of rummies that just wanted a little time on the sun.